Good day and welcome to another edition of One-on-One with Swope Health. I am your host, Eric Wesson. Thanks so much for joining us today. We've got a great show planned for you. But first of all, thanks so much for your positive comments and feedback about all of the shows that we've put together so far. Keep them coming. Ideas, guests, whatever you have, just contact me and let me know. And you can do that by emailing me at ericlwesson, all one word, small letters, at yahoo.com. Joining us today is newly elected 5th District at-large candidate and now councilman, Darrell Curls. Darrell, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you this morning for having me, Eric.
So how's it been?
Let me say this. It's been everything that I thought and even more. It's a lot of times, you kind of have an idea of what you think it's going to be, but the reality, once you get into the position, really sets in and you realize that, my thoughts on what it was going to be or what I thought it was going to be is totally different than what it actually is. And so I'm coming to that realization that, hey, it's everything I thought and then some. I mean, it's like they throw a lot at you all at once, and you have to kind of really read. You gotta have to listen, and it's kind of like they say, walk and chew gum at the same time. And so I'm learning. It's been an exciting. I've been there all of about 9 weeks now, and so it's really been exciting so far.
Okay, so you're born and raised in Kansas City?
Yes, I have. Yeah, hardly ever leave, and my wife is telling me that we need to go on more vacations. But
okay.
Yeah, I'm born and raised here.
Okay, where'd you go to school?
I went to Catholic school. I went to Annunciation, which is no longer there on Linwood and Benton Boulevard. Went to Catholic high school. I graduated from Bishop Lillis, which is no longer there as well. But yeah, I went to school at Catholic school all my life.
Okay. College?
Yes. I actually, when I graduated from high school, I said that I would never go to school again because I was not a good student and never really did participate in school too much. But I got hired at General Motors after I graduated and worked at the Leeds plant, and the plant closed. And I realized that I needed a college education. And General Motors and a lot of the car companies pay for your tuition and education. So I took advantage of that, and General Motors paid for my associate's degree, which I got from Longview Community College. They also paid for my bachelor's degree, which I got from Park College. And then after the plant closed, I was fortunate enough to get hired at Ford Motor Company, and I continued my education and got my master's degree from Central Michigan University through Ford.
Okay, that's good. That's good. So you go to church here locally as well?
Yes, I do. I attend St. Monica's Catholic Church on 16th and Paseo.
Okay. And married local?
Married local, yes.
Okay.
Matter of fact, I'm celebrating my 14th anniversary next week, the 19th.
All right. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So now when you think about the things that are taking place here in Kansas City, what would you gauge as the top priorities? You're 5th District at large. You get to see the whole city.
Yes.
So what areas do you think we need to focus more attention to that's in the past or currently on people's agendas?
Well, I think that there are several things. And when I ran on about 4 ideas that I wanted to work on. And I think if you have to prioritize them, or if I had to prioritize them, I think that the top priority would be more economic growth and economic development for the urban core, the inner city, however you want to term it, meaning the 3rd and the 5th districts. And I think that economic development will help, which would be my second platform idea with crime, because I think economic development, crime, and jobs all go together. And I believe that if we can spur more economic growth, more economic development, I think that that would help deter crime to the extent that people commit crimes because of lack of resources. And I believe that if we can provide more resources for individuals, I believe that that would help alleviate, not necessarily stop it, but it would help cut down on the amount of crime. So I would say economic growth would be something that I'm definitely working on. And I come from South Kansas City in the Hickman Mills area. I've been out there for about 40 years. When I moved out there, I mean, we had restaurants, we had entertainment facilities, we had the Bannister Mall, we had places for people to go within the community and enjoy themselves. Now there's nothing like that there, as well as in the inner city. So economic growth is something that I'm definitely prioritizing. And then, like I said, crime would be the second one, because the amount of homicides that have taken place this year is something that is, I mean, it has to be addressed. I get crime statistics from the police department on a weekly basis. I look at those statistics. The statistics are very alarming to me, because you've got a 28% minority population, but then when you look at the crimes, the black men between the ages of 18 and 30, I believe, are the ones that are more susceptible to homicides. And that's at about 80% rate in this city. I mean, those statistics are just alarming to me, and should be alarming to anybody, and should make people want to try to do what they can to help stop that process or stem that process.
And when you think about it, I think the last time we checked, we were at over 140 homicides.
Yes.
And when you think about it, probably 110 or 115 of them are black men and black women.
Correct.
But it's like, okay, what else is new, or move on to the next subject. So I'm glad those things are on your radar. So when you talk about economic development and creating economic growth, what do you think about in terms of health in those areas? For example, grocery stores and the health issues that people in the urban core have that people outside of the donut hole don't have. Grocery stores, fruits, vegetables, meats, dairy products. What do you think needs to be done in those areas?
I think that, grocery stores are very important. I know that, as I mentioned, in South Kansas City, we used to have at least 3 grocery stores. Now we're down to like 2. But they don't provide the nutrition or the food that would help with health in regards to our community. So we need to look at it, putting in grocery stores that are going to be able to give us the opportunity to buy fresh vegetables and good food, and have those things in there that are going to help our community to become healthier, because and then it's got to be an education aspect to that as well, because people have to be educated in regards to eating more healthy, as opposed to there's nothing wrong with having a McDonald's hamburger or nothing every now and then, but the older that we get from a black perspective, the more our health deteriorates, and that's due to the fact that we don't eat healthy as young people. And so therefore we've got to start educating our youth in regards to eating more healthy, and giving them the opportunity to have those abilities to be able to buy healthy foods, and so therefore, any grocery store that goes into any part of the 3rd or the 5th district, I would be advocating to make sure that we have healthy foods, things that are going to be there that our community needs in order to have a healthy and productive life.
So do you think that there's a relationship between the crime and the homicides that we're seeing and nutrition?
I think
because you were at Hickman Mills School District
Yes.
for a while, so
Yes.
how do you connect all of those dots?
I served on the Hickman Mills School Board for 9 years, and I agree. I think that there is a correlation between the two. I believe that, if you eat healthy, if you have an opportunity to have food available to you, then you probably are not going to be susceptible to going out and trying to steal something in order for you to be able to eat. You're not going to be susceptible to going out and robbing somebody so that you can go and try to buy you a hamburger or something. So there is a correlation with that, I believe, and I believe that we need to look at it from that aspect, which I think that has not been focused on in the past.
Yeah, because we talk about mental health, and if you're feeding your brain hot chips and energy drink, your brain which has no nutritional value.
Right.
I've looked on the side of those packages, and they have 0 nutrients in them. You get your sodium if you need salt from those things, and so your brain is processing that rather than some vegetables and things that we need. So when we talk about nutrition, we talk about education, all of those things fall in together, and it's like we just put that on the back burner. And even buying affordable meals, when you go into fast food places, the cheapest thing on the menu is the least
healthiest
thing
exactly
on the menu, but because of the economy. What do you think about Kansas City's economy?
Right now, from what's going on, I think it's really on an upward trajectory. I believe that, and being on the council now has kind of given me an insight to the budget. I serve on the Finance and Governance and Public Safety Committee, and so I'm able to look at our finances. And one thing that I am learning being on that committee is that there are several pots of money that I did not even know existed.
Slush fund.
Well, I don't know about it. I mean, I guess if, however you want to term it. But there are, like I said, different pots of money that I never knew existed, and they have some substantial fund balances in them right now. Now, that doesn't mean that just because they have the fund balances in them now that you can just go out and start spending willy-nilly, because at some point in time, in your own household, you just can't spend like that. You got to, kind of plan for rainy days and things of that nature. But back to your point in regards to Kansas City's economy, I think that it's really in a good position right now, and I think that it's going to take strong leadership and stewards on this council to make sure that we spend that money as wisely as possible.
So when we have money that we're advocating for, I got curbs. I live in the 5th District. We got curbs over the past 2 weeks, curbs and sidewalks, and they did some other things. So when you talk about the money that's available in different pots, is it appropriated for a certain thing, or can it be used to fix other things, potholes, pick up trash? Because trash is a major untalked about issue in Kansas City. It's one of those things like homicide. So is there anything that those pots of money you're talking about could be used for as far as picking up trash?
I think they could be. I just think that it has to be a situation where the council has to be willing to make those decisions. I believe that, like you said, curbs and sidewalks. There are a lot of places throughout this city that don't have curbs and sidewalks.
In 2023, still don't have no curbs or sidewalks.
Yes. And I know that the city has some money that's set aside for sidewalks, and I know that they are trying to address some of the worst areas in the city that don't have curbs and sidewalks, or where they are in disrepair and need repairing. So I do know that there is a pot of money for that, and they are trying to work as quickly as possible to repair them. But it's not enough money. And so therefore, we would have to look at, in my opinion, how can we infuse more dollars into that pot of money, or into those areas that need to be addressed. Like I said, I'm in South Kansas City, and there are some areas in South Kansas City that don't have curbs and sidewalks. I mean, we look at potholes, we look at street repaving. The 5th District now, under the new boundaries of the maps that were just recently redrawn, has the largest land mass out of all councilmatic districts, which means that we inherited the worst roads in the city now. And so now we, from my perspective and my colleague, Mayor Pro Tem Raina Park Shaw, are going to have to try to look at how we can try to address some of those road issues now that they have been put into the 5th District. And so we'll have to look at, whether that's GO money, bond money, whether that's PIAC money, whether that's general fund money, whether that's some of these other pots. And I'm not going to start naming off all of the different areas that there are. But, I mean, yeah, we'll have to look at closely how we can start maneuvering and addressing those concerns, curbs and sidewalks and things of that nature. Trash is one of the biggest problems that this city has. Now, we have a tendency to be able to find money when we've got the NFL draft or something big coming to clean up the streets.
We got an extra 10 minutes.
And so my thought is that if we can do that when we have big events, surely we should be able to do that on an ongoing basis. It's just going to take the will and the effort in order to do it.
And that's the political will to get it done and want it done, and being able to convince colleagues. I did my editorial this week in my paper, and I said that, because I get a lot of phone calls from people. I don't know how people have my personal cell phone number, my new office phone number, but I'm always glad to hear from people in the community. But one of the things that somebody said to me that kind of sparked a light bulb coming on was with the trash. So they said that they have recycle bins because everybody in Kansas City that wanted one received one. If you didn't want it, you call the city, they come and pick it up. But she was telling me that in her neighborhood, everybody has recycle bins, but they're using the old bins that they used to because they're elderly people and they don't have that much recycling. But the trash bags are being torn open by raccoons, possums, stray dogs, and cats that go through the neighborhood. So I was thinking, why wouldn't they change it and have people put their trash bags in the recycle bins, and people that have recycle bins just use those?
Good question. I mean, this recycle bin was something that was established before I came on.
Right.
I'm not gonna be able to explain the rationale behind that myself. I do know and I do believe that there is a plan to put or to distribute containers for trash as well. So I think that the first phase or the first plan was to do the recycling, because I believe that, and I could be wrong with this, this is just my assumption or my opinion, is that the city was trying to get people to start recycling more,
Right.
as opposed to putting everything into the trash container. And they figured that if they could start with the recycling aspect of it, then that would mean that there would be less trash that would go into the bags. And but I believe that there is something down the road that is going to put in another container for trash. So hopefully that'll alleviate the possums and the dogs and the cats and everybody else from getting into your trash. But I think that that's a little ways down the road.
Okay. So housing trust fund. I know today I was at a press conference and the mayor was talking about land bank and getting some of those properties out of land bank. So is there a housing plan? Or are we just mark timing?
I think that there is a housing plan. I think that part of it does include the land bank aspect of it. I know that the 3rd District Council people are looking at, because I think that they have more land bank properties throughout in their councilmatic district than the rest of the councilmatic district. So I do know that Councilwoman Patterson-Hasley and Robinson are looking at how to best utilize those properties, which I think will be an opportunity for housing. Yes, housing is a big concern, I think, for the whole city. I was in a meeting in the Northland yesterday, and they were talking about housing up there. I know in the 5th District, we're looking at, in South Kansas City, looking at some housing developments there. So I don't know exactly what the big plan is, but I do know that the mayor and the council have been looking at how to address the housing concerns for Kansas City, and I think that we're working towards that goal. I believe that one of the things that's taking place with this new council is that we are working a lot more collaboratively together in regards to working with each other, getting to know each other, and I think that helps with any type of plan, whether it's a housing plan, whether it's a crime prevention plan, whatever it is. I think that as long as you can continue to have those types of relationships and build those relationships and moving in the same direction, you're going to be able to accomplish a lot. And I believe that that's where this council is headed, and I look forward to some of the things that are going to come out of this new council.
Do you think the council members that you shared in the 1st or the 2nd district or the 4th district and the 6th district understand the issues within the 3rd and the 5th district?
I think they do. They brought up the road issue at this meeting in the Northland yesterday, where the 1st, 2nd, and the 4th councilmatic district people were there. I was there representing the 5th. And they got to talking about, well, yeah, we need this road done and this road didn't. And I had to step in and said, hey, wait a minute. Okay, I want y'all to understand that we're one city, and I understand the need for roads in the 1st and the 2nd and the 4th. But as I mentioned to you earlier, the 5th district now has just picked up the worst roads of all councilmatic districts. So when you're talking about and looking at funding for road repairs, then make sure that we are doing it as equitably as possible, or as equally as possible, because just because your road, or you feel that your district roads are more important than the 3rd and the 5th, they're not. And so we've got to make sure that we're looking at it from a holistic point of view and making sure that, okay, you might get your road done here, but I also need this road in the 5th done too. So how do we work together to make sure that both of them get done?
So you're saying with this council that's doable?
I believe so, yes. I mean, all of 9 weeks, it seems like it so far.
It's the honeymoon.
The honeymoon,
period.
yeah, we're in the honeymoon phase still. So, but I think that we're off to a good start, and I hope that it can continue.
Well, that's good. I'm glad to hear that, because I have seen quite a few councils in my years in this business, and some councils are dysfunctional. some councils, you can't really go back and point to anything productive that was done. So I'm looking forward to this council being able to move the needle a little bit.
Yeah.
And because the problems in the 3rd and the 5th district are so overwhelming, when there's a little bit of progress, it looks like nothing's being done. So
yeah, and that's the thing, and that is I believe that if we can start showing a little bit of progress, because I hope and I believe that everybody knows that a lot of the things that we have not been able to obtain in the past are not going to be attainable overnight. And so therefore it's going to take a little while for us to work together and to start showing progress in the 3rd and the 5th. But I believe that you'll start seeing that come up here. Like I said, I believe all 4 of the African American council members are working together. I believe that there will be some significant investments in the 3rd and the 5th coming up, and you'll start seeing some things that I think will give everybody at least hope that there's other things that will be coming too.
So have you all realized, you said the 4 council members that are African American, have you all realized yet how much power the 4 of you have? Because I'm going to do the math here. You all were endorsed by Freedom Incorporated, the Political Action Committee. You had Andrea Boo. She was endorsed by the Freedom Incorporated. The mayor was endorsed by Freedom Incorporated. I think in all practicality, O'Neill understands the plight in the black community because he pretty much grew up in the black community. So at any given thing you all want to do, y'all go into that with 7 votes.
I believe that is true. I do believe that there are, not only with those individuals that you named, but I think there's the potential of some other people on there that we could also get votes from as well.
French, she was endorsed by Freedom Incorporated as well. So you got 8 votes going into anything you want to do.
Crispin Rea.
Crispin.
And that's why I say I think that this council has realized that we can get more accomplished by working together. And I think that your question was, do we realize or do we know the amount of power that we have? I'm going to be cautious and say that I don't know if we've actually realized it yet. At 9 weeks in, check back with me maybe in about 6 months, okay, and then we'll see if my opinion or my stance changes any. But I think that for the most part we do realize that we can achieve more working together, and I believe that we have formed that coalition. With at least 5 to 6 votes, like you said, that we do know that we can count on those individuals, that if there's a tough situation or a tough vote that comes up, then those are the ones that we know that we can rely on.
So who's the leader on the council?
I'm not
you even on the spot.
I don't know if there's any one particular leader right now. I mean, my opinion is this, and I kind of lean or listen to the people that have came back to the council, have returned. Right. So I listen to, and I try to speak with Melissa Robinson, Kevin O'Neill. I sit right next to Eric Bunch. And Eric and I have our differences, but I mean, I can't take away from his experience on the council. And so therefore he knows a lot that I don't know. So I kind of listened to him. But I think my opinion is that I tried to listen to all of them, ascertain enough information from them in order to be able to make an informed decision on my own.
Okay. Because you had some institutional knowledge leave with Councilwoman Shields.
Yes.
And Councilman Barnes. There was a lot of knowledge there. So who fills in those gaps? And I would think that Councilwoman Andrea Boo had been there. She knows a little bit. She's been on finance and planning and zoning, so she would know some of those
Well, her
things.
and I'm leaning a lot on Mayor Pro Tem Park Shaw. I mean, by her being in the 5th already, so she knows a lot of the things that are going on and some of the issues that I need to be brought up to speed on. And she sits right next to me as well. So I definitely have been conversing with her in regards to understanding the process, looking at what has been proposed, what's in the pipeline, some projects that we're looking at that we really want to try to move forward on, one being the 63rd and Prospect.
Oh, my goodness.
I'm sorry. Maybe I shouldn't have brought that up.
That's a whole show in and of itself. But the street is smoother, so it's getting prepared for something to finally happen there.
That's true, and we are very excited that something will be happening very soon.
All right.
But yeah, I think that her and Councilwoman Boo, like you said, they've got that. Knowledge and that experience that is going to be beneficial, I think. And I'm hoping that my other new colleagues are reaching out to them as well, because I am.
Okay. Councilman Darrell Curls has been our guest today. Thanks so much for joining us. Hope you can come back again as things progress and you kind of get to know your way around a little bit better there and figure out who the real leader of the council is.
Yeah, and then there'll be some more controversial things that'll come up that'll be tough, and I'm sure that you'll be on top of those, and we'll have those discussions whether we agree or disagree.
All right, I'm looking forward to it. Thanks for joining us. And to our audience, thanks so much for tuning in today. And as always, I have the greatest audience in the world. Till next time, remember, tough times don't last. Tough people do. Until next time, peace.